It all started with a simple friend request. Laura was a 23-year-old university student who loved to connect with people on Facebook. One evening, she received a friend request from a profile named Brian. The profile picture was that of a handsome, smiling man in his mid-20s. Although she didn't recognize him, his profile seemed normal enough. A few posts about hiking, some photos with friends, and a couple of inspirational quotes. Curiosity got the better of her, and she accepted the request. A week after accepting the request, Laura started receiving messages from Brian. At first, they were just friendly greetings and small talk. Gradually, the messages became more personal and intrusive. Brian seemed to know things about Laura that she had never shared online. He knew her favorite coffee shop, the routes she took to class, and even the name of her cat, Mr. Whiskers. Unnerved, Laura decided to ask Brian how he knew so much about her. His response was cryptic. "I know you better than you know yourself." Laura confided in her best friend, Sarah, who suggested she block Brian and report the profile. Laura did as advised, but the messages didn't stop. Instead, they started coming from other accounts, each with different names but always the same eerie tone. "Blocking me won't work, Laura. You can't hide." Laura began receiving anonymous emails, texts, and even handwritten notes slipped under her door. She was living in a state of constant fear, checking over her shoulder and avoiding social media altogether. Desperate for answers, Laura turned to the police. They took her case seriously but found little to go on. The IP addresses were traced to multiple locations, making it difficult to pinpoint the stalker. Laura decided to take matters into her own hands, diving into Brian's Facebook activity. She discovered that several other women had similar experiences. They all reported eerie messages, personal knowledge, and a sense of being watched. Laura contacted these women, and they formed a small support group. Together, they shared their stories and tried to uncover the truth. One night, while combing through Brian's friend list, Laura stumbled upon a peculiar detail. Every woman who had interacted with Brian had at some point visited a particular hiking trail. Laura recalled her own visit there a few months ago and felt a chill run down her spine. The women decided to meet at the trail to investigate. They arrived at the location and found an old, abandoned cabin. Inside, they discovered a wall covered in photos of themselves, taken without their knowledge. There were also detailed notes about their lives and routines. Suddenly, they heard footsteps. A tall, gaunt man entered the cabin, his eyes wild with a manic glint. It was Brian. He confessed to stalking them, using social media to gather information and the hiking trail as his hunting ground. He reveled in the fear he caused and believed he could control their lives. The women confronted him, and a struggle ensued. They managed to overpower him and held him until the police arrived. Brian was arrested, and the women were finally free from his terrifying grip. Laura and the others tried to move on from their ordeal. They became advocates for online safety, sharing their story to warn others about the dangers of oversharing on social media. Laura deleted her Facebook account and embraced a more private life, but every now and then she couldn't shake the feeling that someone, somewhere, was still watching.